Welcome back, guys, as you've been watching my videos, and welcome if you're a first-time viewer. Gonna get down into we got a lot going on between SmackDown and Raw and this TKO business. I'm just gonna get right into it. All right, let's start talking about CM Punk here, okay? CM Punk comes out, he opens the show talking about how Roman Reigns is plastic and how Punk is starting to be reckless and not caring anymore and how he's uncontrollable. I think that they got a lot going on with storylines right now. I feel like the whole thing with Roman Reigns and CM Punk is a good storyline. I feel like now you're adding this TKO business, which I don't know what's true and what's not true. Are they trying to spoil, like, not let you know that this is real or not real? Because everything that I've been seeing, it says that TKO and WWE are having communication problems. Now, do I believe that it's kayfabe? I'm starting to believe that it's kayfabe a little bit because if that's, I feel like we're going at the WCW and WO like kind of thing where the companies, the little company strikes back at the corporation. I think that if that is the case, we could be seeing another NWO WCW happening here right in front of our eyes. That's why sometimes I have a hard time believing these storylines because I know that they've been done before or they sound very familiar. They have a familiar tone to them. And this is what WWE is known for. You know, it's just another reason why I've been like dipping out and checking out AEW. I think AEW is pretty good, but we'll talk about that a little later. I feel like the Pat McAfee situation is so stupid and unbelievable that it just doesn't make sense. I don't like him coming into the business like this. It's just aggravating because I liked Pat McAfee as an announcer. You're not a wrestler. You're just an ex football player that is now retired because you had too many concussions, and you're an announcer. And you're not even an announcer anymore. He said he was done with the company. So I don't know why they brought him back in this form. It just doesn't make sense. I like how Punk brought up the fact that TKO needs to lower the prices for tickets, that they've outpriced the public, which I firmly believe is true. I mean, tickets are so outrageous it's no one wants to go. And you got Punk saying that on Raw. Then we can fast forward to Friday Night SmackDown where you've got Cody Rhodes doing the same thing, talking about Pat McAfee and how your boys need to lower ticket prices because my customers aren't happy. That's what the WWE public is, customers, and they're not happy. So when you got that going awry, it's not good. And I like how they're if this is real, I like how they're calling them out. If this is fake and it's kayfabe, then we know that this is WCW and WO all over again. I mean, it's just predictable. Everything with WWE is predictable, except my next topic, Danhausen. This guy is hilarious. I love how he won't uncurse I Show Speed. I like how he told I Show Speed, I'll uncurse you if you give me your mansion. And then he got mixed up into another match now, and now he's gonna be having a match, which I definitely don't agree with. I don't agree with I Show Speed getting a match at WrestleMania. What the fuck are you doing with these superstars that aren't superstars? They're just singers, actors, rappers. No, they don't. YouTube personalities, Logan Paul, take no, go bye bye. I'm not a fan of you guys. I think it's a sport still, no matter what you say. I understand it's entertainment, but I don't feel like they should be intertwining like that. And I love Danhausen. I love how he's free flowing. He just had his first match on SmackDown, which was absolutely great. He cursed the guy in the middle of the match, and the guy was standing on the corner post, and the freaking pyro hit him in the ball sack, which was hilarious. It's perfect. And then the bit where Danhausen slid out of the ring and was arm in arm with the Miz as the Miz was taunting and like cheering his buddy, And then all of a sudden he realized it was Danhausen. Oh, I'm telling you, the Danhausen skits are hilarious. They're pretty much tied with our truth. And a little fun fact that I've been made aware of is that Danhausen, when they announced where he's from, it's actually he lives next door to the Munsters house on Mockingbird Lane, which I think that is hilarious for his character. And I just love the whole curse thing. I just think he's just brilliant. Like I've said, I've always been a fan of this guy because he's been into the creepy kind of stuff. And I think that he is made it to the big time now. Even though I think that the smaller shows and the smaller channels and the smaller companies are where it's at because they pay more attention to you. But WWE is the big where people want to be at the end of the day, and that's where he's at now. And I just think he's on fire. He's great guy. I just think that the way his character was great. I loved how he disappears all the time and everybody's left talking to themselves and they look stupid. But this Vision crap, I don't like them. They're you got Danhausen talking and then all of a sudden he disappears and they bring in the Vision. That's a buzzkill. Like these guys suck. Like I am not a fan of them. The only two guys that were worth their salt is they're injured. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed they're gone. They're out. Those guys are monsters. I believe that they made the Vision, but like really and truly, the Vision sucks right now. Please don't show them on my TV. I don't want to see them on my TV screen at all. Don't give them any airtime. They're terrible. Okay, next topic. Finn Balor. I think that this is all leading up to him becoming the demon again. I just I don't like Dominic Mysterio. He's such a good bad guy. Um I think that him and McDonough and all the rest of Judgment Day are a bunch of cowards. They always are. But that's their gimmick. So cool. You're doing a good job. I mean, Dominic's doing definitely a good job. Everybody hates that mofo. So, they be screaming at him when he comes down that ramp. Okay, cussing him out. And I feel like this match at WrestleMania is going to be huge. I feel like it's going to be the return of his persona, the demon. And I think that he's going to win. But then I think that if he beats Dominic, then Judgment Day should disband. Like there should be some kind of repercussion because they've taken all of Finn Balor's stuff and totally made it now it's theirs. So I don't know. Hopefully Dominic loses. I would love to see that. I would love to see Judgment Day get knocked out by the demon. The lights go off, maybe some theatrical. That would be cool. Um, but we'll see. And sometimes when they do theatrical stuff, it is not good. Like the AJ Lee and Becky Lee face to face. Oh my god, that was so awkward and so weird. AJ Lee just like told Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch didn't even reply. And the spiel about AJ saying, you know what? When your daughter goes to bed at night and she says who she wants to grow up to be like, it ain't you, Becky. It's me, AJ. That's who she wants to be like. I get it. It's a good burn, but I feel like the theatricalness, it would have been better in front of a microphone and in front of a commentator interviewing them. I feel like they getting rid of the backstage interviews is a huge mistake. A huge mistake. You're dropping the ball. And I feel like that was okay for AJ, but I feel like I said, it just looked too scripted. It looked too much like she had practiced it, and practiced it, and practiced it, and it was scripted. It was just too perfect and dead on. And then after that, we shifted to Seth Rollins, and he was, out at the ring, and Gunther comes out and tries to put him in a sleeper hold, and Seth Rollins got the better of him. But like, it's going crazy. I really don't know. Like, I don't know. I really hope they don't let Gunther get over on Seth. But WWE's been known to do some stupid things. You want to talk about energy? Let's talk about energy. Brock Lesnar and Oba. Man, them people were throwing stairs into the ring, hitting security guards, throwing chairs, bells, anything you could think of, desk chairs. It was insane. I could not believe that. I'm telling you, someone had to get hurt. I bet you if you Google if anybody got hurt at that show, and I bet you 4 or 5 people got hurt because that was absolutely insanity. Brock Lesnar over his shoulders backwards, just loft stairs into the ring. Like, what? Like, that's insane. And Oba doing the same thing. Like, I think this is going to be an electrical match, 100%. If you're not a wrestling fan, I don't care if you are or you aren't, you should be watching this match. Is going to be huge. I'm telling you. If they play it right, it should be huge. Javon Evans and Penta and Dragon Lee in this ladder match is going to be insane. You got Rusev in there, but like, hey, he's a big guy, dude. He's going to hurt some of them little guys. Like, that's dangerous. You should have just kept it all high flyers. I feel like I don't have nothing bad to say about Rusev, but at the same time, I feel like I don't think he's in that category of the luchadors. But, then we found out recently this week that Rey Mysterio is going to be in this match. Oh man, that's going to be lit. I really hope that he's not in this match to win the title. I don't want them taking it off of Penta. I'm sorry. I'm a real huge Penta fan, but okay. I can see Rey Mysterio retiring with the Intercontinental. You know what I'm saying? Like I could possibly see them doing that, but I still think it's going to be Penta. I don't think anything else. Let me tell you, oh boy, this match is gonna be a blockbuster. Any ladder match is a blockbuster no matter what. TLC match, a ladder match, tables match, casket match, buried alive match, Hell in the Cell match. They're always lit. Always. No matter what you do. You could put two jobbers in there and have one big guy and the Undertaker in a wheelchair, and that shit will still be phenomenal, okay? Now we're going to move on to Io Sky and Rhea Ripley in their tag match against Jade and her Misfits. Which I call them Misfits because I don't even know what they're doing with her. They don't like her. They've been battling each other this whole year. So, like, okay, dumb storyline. But it just proves how weak of a character Jade really is. And, you know, I get it. I get where they're going with it. But, Jade, you're weak. Weak. Like I just don't get it. I don't get it. You were phenomenal in AEW. Is it just because you just don't like working with this company, or is it just because you have a sour attitude and it's always been like that? I don't know. I just know what I hear around the rumor mill about the back room about Jade, and I've heard she's kind of not well over with anybody. I just feel like if they're saying that, then some of it's got to be true. We're not talking about rumors. We're talking about it's been heard of. So I just feel like this match should be good at WrestleMania. Jade versus Rhea. Hopefully, Rhea kicks the shit out of her and we see a great match and Rhea walks out with that belt. That could probably be the best thing for that championship right now. And I just, it's going to be a blockbuster. I feel like also I have to backtrack and go back to Brock Lesnar and the Oba segment. It's not even just that segment. It happens all the time. I hate when they get something going and Netflix cuts to commercial. Bro, we pay for this. Why are we watching commercials? Uh, is it because of it had commercials on USA? It doesn't matter. We don't need to have commercials every minute to interrupt something that we're trying to watch. You're losing customers because at that moment in time, people are like, "Oh, let me go look at my phone. Let me go do this. Let me go do that," because you went to commercial at a pivotal point, or you ended it at a pivotal point. They ended Brock Lesnar and Oba. They didn't even finish it. They didn't even show you what happened afterwards. They just went black, and your program has ended. So, later episodes, we're going to talk about that. We're going to address the fact how Netflix is running things and how they have these commercials and they charge a high price, and it's just ridiculous. But we're going to move on to a subject again that I haven't been really proud to talk about, but I am starting to be a fan. And I think that I might actually become a fan. Don't tell nobody. But I am actually starting to like AEW. They started off AEW with 6-on-6 fight with Osprey and Moxley. Let me tell you something. Osprey and Moxley already killed it in their match against each other. Okay? Then you show this parking lot brawl with their factions. It was insane. I was off my rocker. I could not believe how good this was organized. And I really am starting to become a fan of how they're doing things. I've always like watched it for Lacey Evans and John Moxley and, you know, other people, but it is definitely starting to pick up business and they're starting to show what they're made of. And I like it. I wish I could report on TNA. I don't have the channel that TNA's on, and I don't watch it much, which is a heartbreaker because the Hardys are on there, but it's just not available to me to watch. So I will keep on bragging about AEW until they started slacking. But I will tell you, they did a very good job this week with the Osprey and Moxley. They're crazy. Okay, and then we got this MJF and Kenny Omega, which I think is going to be another blockbuster. I have followed Kenny Omega his whole career. This guy is phenomenal. I really love the guy, and I think that he could pull off a title run. We're gonna see because that's what's up for grabs is MJF's title. So I mean, if you don't watch AEW, go peep it out if you have HBO Max or watch the clips on YouTube. It is pretty entertaining as far as that goes. I will tell you, it blew my mind. I was like, what? And I mean, they were getting put through car windows and slammed on cement, and whoo, boy, it was intense. I mean, mm, it was great. It was really great. It reminded me of the Attitude Era matches that opened up Raw on a hardcore end. You know what I'm saying? Like Revenge, and they were beating people up and putting people through cars, and I like that. That was good. That was really, really high paced and good. Good way to start the actual opening of the show. All right, so we're gonna move on to the paranormal segment, and we're gonna talk about this experience I had when I was a kid. There was, like I said, there was a lot of stuff that happened in my neighborhood, but you know, like this story, I can understand why it's like paranormal, because like I always believe in when you die or when something bad happens to you. I don't know. I believe that when you die, you're roaming the earth in a different dimension. That's what I believe. Don't throw stones at me, but that's what I believe. I believe that that's what ghosts are, and that's what paranormal experiences are, because I believe that there's enough proof that people have seen ghosts doing things in a repetitive manner that just it makes sense to me that they would be in another dimension and they just can't reach us. When I was young, there was this house around the block. It was a white brick house, kind of square in stature, with just upstairs and downstairs, and it had a roof on it. You know what I mean? Like, but it was like a straight up and down building, and it was all white brick. And I don't remember much of the people living there. I remember the afterwards. I've heard tons of stories, and they are all pretty much the same. But I just know what I can only speak on what I experienced. So when I was young, I was always riding my bike or my big wheel or whatever I had at the time, little cart, little cars, and I would always try and go as far around the block as I could. When I got old enough and I could go around the block a lot, I would go by this house, and this house would always give me the creeps because it was vacant, and it was vacant for a while. And the grass was growing around it, and it was kind of boarded up. The upstairs windows you could see in, but you know, there was, for the most part, it was boarded up. So I just remember that being a mainstay in my childhood was that house on the corner. That was weird, scary. So one day, flash forward, I think I was about 13. I was walking the neighborhood to smoke cigarettes because that's what I did when I was young, I guess. So I was walking around having a cigarette out at night, and it had to be like 9, 10 o'clock at night. I was out with my buddy from down the street. We were walking around the neighborhood smoking around the block so my mom didn't catch us. And I remember walking by this house, and I had seen a light on the upstairs, and I was like, "Dude, you see that?" And they were like, "Yeah, why is that light on? That house should have no power." So we kind of walked around the corner. It was a corner house, so we kind of walked the corner, and when we walked around the corner, we could see the light more. And basically, it was the back bedroom light. It wasn't the front bedroom light because the front bedroom door was open, so the light just kind of reflected through the other bedroom. So when we got around the corner, we started seeing that light was on, and there was like almost like a darkness about it. It was like kind of creepy. So when we started walking up, and we had alleys in Detroit. So when we got to the alley, we turned around and we looked at it, and we could actually see some kind of shadow sitting in the window. Now, backstory is that a man came home and killed his whole family there on Christmas Eve one night. He came home, they were having a Christmas party, and he killed his wife, his kids, his aunts, his uncles, and that's what I've heard. Now, I will tell you factual stuff on my end. When I started seeing this, I was really freaked out about it. We kind of like were like, "Oh, it's a ghost," and we were just like, young teenagers. We just kept on walking. But then we started seeing it like every night we were out, and it was definitely a shape, and it definitely was a woman. And as the days got further into summer, I remember seeing her brushing her hair, and so did my friend. So it was like a definitely a clearer spirit by the beginning of summer. And we went on. We were such juvenile delinquents. Now that I think back, we're lucky we didn't go to jail. So we were walking one night at like 10 o'clock at night, and we were like, "Dude, that light's on. We should go try and get into the house and see why that light is on. Like, let's call bullshit. Let's find out what's going on. Maybe a homeless person's living there." So we broke through one of the 2x4s in the front of the house, and the door was unlocked weirdly. And I, I remember, I think it didn't even have a door handle or a doorknob. I think it was just like a deadbolt, and it was broken. So we went in there, and as soon as we walked in that house, you could see blood stains all over the place. And that's honestly, that's the only thing I'm going to tell you they were. They weren't red paint. They weren't, you know, paintball guns. We didn't have that kind of crap when I was young. So it definitely wasn't paintball. And I'm telling you, it wasn't paint. And it made sense from the stories that I heard growing up where it took place at, that it kind of like, I can almost picture where the bodies could have been. So we didn't really want to go upstairs. We joked about it and like kind of egged each other on, and we're like, come on, let's go upstairs. Are you scared?" Well, I mean, we were scared shitless because we were in a house that a bunch of people got murdered in. So we ended up kind of going to the basement of the house. Now, there was rumors that the guy escaped through the bottom of the house somehow, that he had built some kind of tunnel system to the sewer and was actually able to get out there. I don't know how true that is. I can tell you that what I saw was a dug up sewer drain in the basement, and there was a lot of room where someone could have walked through it. So, possibility being, could that story be true? Probably. Creepy? Insane? Yes. I don't know if it was a Detroit thing. I don't know what it was, but like it was pretty creepy. So after we saw that, we went upstairs, and we were like, whoa. Like, little guys, like, this is so weird. Like, it was true. So then we decided to say, well, if that was true, then let's go up the stairs. We made it up to the stairs, and we got to the door, and we were standing there, and the door blew open. We turned and looked at each other, crapped our pants, turned around, and ran down the stairs, out. Bye. And we never ever spoke about it to anybody, and we never went back in the house again ever. And if we could avoid that house, we would avoid that house. But no matter what we would do, we would always see that woman in the window, which that's what I think it was. I think it was the wife, and I think that that's where she's stuck at, is that house, because she was murdered there. I can confirm that the story was true about the murders. I can confirm that where they died at in the living room, they were all at the table. They had everything set up for Christmas Eve dinner, so they all died at the table, which makes sense. Um, I can confirm that what I saw in the basement looked like a tunnel. Did I go in it? Hell no. Was I scared? Hell yeah. Did I feel like there was a paranormal entity there? Yes. The chills. My friend that was with me, their arm hair stood straight up. I literally saw this happen when we walked down the stairs. Their hair stood straight up on their arm. So I definitely know I wasn't the only one, but it's definitely a spooky situation. And I mean, we kind of asked for it. Like I said, we were juvenile delinquents. I mean, we weren't really hurting anybody, but nowadays, you probably get busted for it, for trespassing. You know what I mean? It was back in the 80s. There was no rules to that back then. So, especially for children, we just get away with it. We weren't vandalizing it or nothing. They would just come to us and say, hey, get out of here. Go back home to your mom's house, or we're going to tell your parents, things like that. But that's my paranormal segment. Tell me what you think. If you got your own stories, comment in the section. Let me know. So I want to address the whole sneakers thing. What I pronounce, what I tell you is on the sneaker app is only what I'm seeing. A lot of times they're gonna put shoes on there. They're gonna add shoes. They're gonna take shoes away. It's not very accurate. I always go by Foot Locker or Champs releases. Sometimes Nike, but Nike shares sneakers, so you'll be redirected to sneakers a lot of times. Foot Locker and Champs are pretty accurate, and then they got their own releases that you can see too. So I'm not trying to promote them. I'm just saying that's the easiest way to view the releases. Just like those infrared green and red Air Force Ones. They were slated to come out the 10th on April, and instead now they've been pushed up now to the 16th, which I don't understand. That did you not make them yet? I don't know what that means. So that's kind of weird to me. The Jaws came out, the Jurassic Park Jaw threes. The Raptors, the brown ones sold out quick, and I was lucky enough to score myself two of the Jeep colored pair themed, and thank God they look good. I'm so excited. That was a major enthusiastic score for me because I thought that was like I don't have a lot of shoes that are themed like that. That is a blatant theme. That's what I like to call a blatant theme, where it's an actual identical theme to what we're looking at. So you people will look at the shoe and know without even asking you. I think that is a good theme. If you have a person that comes up to you and says, "Hey, are those the Jurassic Parks?" That's a good thing because that you didn't even have to tell that person. That person knew by just looking at them. So I'm super geeked about those. Then the Jordan 1 Retro High OG Fight Clubs came out. They sold out on for men's sizes on sneakers and Nike. I do believe that they might be still available on Foot Locker and Champs, but Nike and sneakers sold out. They're going to be releasing. It looks like they're going to be releasing later in April. Uh, uh, Jordan 4 for women's, which is going to be pink. I don't know if that's going to stick. If they're going to disappear again, I don't know. The Kobe's have disappeared. It's like they pull shoes and they put shoes on there and they take shoes off. So it's kind of hard to really delegate and tell you guys what's out. I know I'm still waiting for the Jordan 11 lows, the University Blues, but that's close to $300 for a pair of shoes that are white. Like two of the easiest colors to crease and get dirty, white and powder blue. Yeah, am I going to tell you that they're damn fresh? Yes, they are damn fresh. But does that mean that I'm going to buy them? Probably won't even get a chance anyway because those kind of Jordans sell out super fast. And I hope by me talking about them like this, I hope I cursed them like Danhausen and they don't sell out because that's even better because then other people can buy them. But I know that they're going to be available at Foot Locker and Champs. I know that for a fact. So it's not just Nike and sneakers. So I'm excited to see what direction they're going to go after this because the shoe lines they they release at will. So the list is there just as a guideline. What they might have, what they might move down, what they might move up. It's just it's weird. So I'm hopeful that I'm hopeful to be hopeful because I just hope that they're gonna make this a better process. But will only future can tell. I mean, I really haven't heard much about that pre-order, make them before you can buy them thing that I saw on Sneakers app yet. I haven't seen a lot of news about that, so I don't know if they're going through with it, if they already put it in a process. But stay tuned, guys, because I'm gonna be showing some great shoes soon, and I have hope that there's gonna be a lot of paranormal comments and lots of wrestling news, guys. So stay tuned.